Whoops. And now, Loreweek! All the news that's fit to week, or lore, or lore, oh, you know, whatever, I don't even know. Moving on. Oh, shoot, I forget, but God, I've been so busy this morning. Oh, my goodness. Give me 1 second. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very early Lore Week. Today, we only have a few things to talk about. It's all gaming related today. It's weird. Nothing else to talk about. Sorry, guys. I'm afraid we're going to not talk about things unrelated to games. I know it's weird, but there we are. Let me finish sending out notifications. Notifications. That's what we do. Suddenly, I forgot to turn off my phone. Send a message. There we go. Okay. Without further ado, I'm going to start by talking about something kind of not really news related, but I just thought I'd share, because I've mentioned it in my previous 2 streams, but I know more people watch Loreweek than anything else. For those of you not aware, Twitch has a new process called Twitch Affiliate. Now, the idea here is, you know what a Twitch partner is, right? I mean, that's been a thing for forever. That's been a thing since before it was called Twitch, back when it was called Justin TV. So, they've got a new thing called Affiliate, which is a step down from a partner, but a step up from me, a regular streamer. Now, supposedly, the affiliate program is going to roll out automatically. Anybody who qualifies is going to become an affiliate. Now, those of you who have been following me for any length of time at all know that I have had absolutely garbage luck, for lack of a better term, actually getting a partnership with Twitch, even though I have tried many times for many years, and even though my viewership has been steadily on the rise those whole years, it's still not enough. I'm still a dinky, worthless, insignificant insect, according to Twitch anyways. So, yeah, so we'll see if, well, thank you, Darch. We'll see if I become an affiliate. I thought I'd talk a little bit about how affiliates work. The biggest benefit of an affiliate is the whole cheater system with the bits is going to be turned on. So, for example, if I did become an affiliate, anybody who has any stored bits could use them on my channel and use that as a way to donate towards the show. After some time, we would get to the point where subscriptions would be allowed, and game sales and adverts. Now, the significance there, I know a lot of you who support the show already do on Patreon, so you're like, what, you want me to sub to you again? No. However, if you already have something called Amazon Prime, you probably have the whole free Twitch sub thing. So you could use the free Twitch sub and put it under there, and that would be awesome. And if you don't, if you want to support someone else, that's cool too. But either way, that would be neat, a little way to get a few additional little bits of income on the show. Lord knows I need it. Now, we would not get full access to transcodes. To explain what that means a little bit, it's the quality options. However, as an affiliate, we would get priority on transcodes, so higher chance of getting the option to stream at something other than source quality, which I know would be useful, especially for anybody watching on mobile. We would also get higher mobile support as a result of that, and something else. There was something else. I'm actually looking at this here. Oh, I guess that actually that's it. So never mind. So that's it. Those are the things that we would get as a result of being Twitch affiliate. I actually have no idea as the one, to be honest with you. And hello, not Simon. I guess if you're not Simon, I'm not sure what to call you. Welcome to my stream. We're just doing Loreweek right now. We're going to be doing a little Overwatch thing in a bit, then some Back to the Future stuff, then some StarCraft 2 stuff. I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, please feel free to share. If not, that's okay too. You can lurk if you want to. Okay, so let's hit the actual news items I have here. Let's see here. So, first of all, I'm just going to hit these in a random order here, no particular order. This is kind of a spoiler, but the news is everywhere. So, on the off chance that you don't want spoilers for Marvel Comics, then, feel free to mute me for the next minute or so here as I make a timestamp for the YouTube video. There we go. Just waiting. Waiting, just in case you need to mute me. I should probably put up the spoilers video image, actually. Where is that? Is this it? No, that's not the spoilers image. There's the spoilers image. Okay. Spoilers image up. So, Captain America. They've had some news about Captain America, and apparently Captain America was originally a Hydra agent. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, that's old news. No, you don't actually understand. So, they doubled down on the Hydra agent thing. So what had happened is a few months ago they made the ridiculous idea of saying that Captain America was always secretly a Hydra agent. Everyone looked at that and was just like, oh, come on! And it was seen as a pathetic, ridiculous attention grab, which is kind of what it was. Then the people in charge of writing that story arc got a few slaps on the wrist behind the scenes. They handed over some of the storytelling to a couple of different writers and a couple of different producers, and they decided to rework it, but they didn't tank the storyline entirely. So the first thing they did was they decided that the reason he was always a horrible Hydra agent was the fact that Red Skull had used, I think, the Cosmic Cube. It's one of the MacGuffins they have in Marvel, to go back and undo or reprogram his brain to make him a Hydra agent. Blah, super evil. So everyone's like, okay, cop-out answer, right? Well, this is where it gets weird. Because it turns out that the Cosmic Cube thing is something you can do to basically load state and start a different timeline or change the existing timeline, depending on how you define it. So the whole plot was to go back and undo the timeline to ensure that Hydra and the Nazis won back during World War II. As a result of... This is where we get to real spoilers. This is fairly recent spoilers, so this is your last warning. As a result of going back in time in order to alter the time and make sure the Nazis won, they discovered that the Nazis did win. That the world had actually been controlled by Nazi Germany and the Hydra overarm, and their greatest agent, Captain America, or rather, the guy who played, obviously wasn't called that, but, Cap, Steve Rogers, was like one of the biggest enforcers of Hydra. Then, at the end of that timeline, or further in that timeline, the people of that timeline got a hold of the Cosmic Cube, went back, redid time again, or except, actually, this is more like redid time the first time, leading to the current timeline, the one that we've always known. So the only reason Hydra and the Nazis lost is because people from a previous future went back in time to ensure that they lost, and that Steve Rogers became our agent rather than their agent. And what had actually happened when Skull had used the cube on him to reprogram him is actually he deprogrammed him. Everyone get all that? There's going to be a test later. I need music. I'm sorry. Hang on just a second. Lack of music. Not cool. No, don't update. Never update. So the reason I talk about all this is pretty much the definition of a retcon right here. Retroactive continuity. In other words, going back and saying, oh, well, this was always this. As opposed to saying, oh, here's the twist. No, it's this was always a thing. Now, what I want to talk about, though, is I haven't actually read the comics myself, but everything I've seen about the way they've presented this storyline thing is actually pretty well done from what I've understood. They've actually decided to sit down and think, okay, we want to hit the viewers with something, but we want to do it in a way that doesn't invalidate. That's the important part. One of the things that really pissed readers off back during the Clone Wars, back during the Clone Saga, for those of you who don't follow comics, there was a whole series of comics which got increasingly ridiculous about clones and maximum clonage, and it just got way out of hand about Spider-Man. It's actually a very complicated topic. I don't want to go into it in full right now. But in summary, there was this big kerfuffle about the Clone Saga, and one of the biggest problems they had with it was they wanted to just be like, oh, it was always a clone. Peter Parker was always a clone. And people were pissed off about that because it meant that the character they'd always been watching was a fake. Now, if you actually sit back and think about it for a minute, that's not like 100% true. There's plenty of reasons to say, well, no, we weren't watching a fake, we were just watching a clone, and blah, 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 blah. But If you actually look at that situation, it's easy to understand why the gut emotional reaction from the viewers would be negative, right? You with me? So, what the original writers of the Captain America did thing was the same general idea. Do it, Gary. They were like, oh, we need to have this frickin' clone saga, or we need to have the Cap, oh yeah, he's an Hydra agent, hail Hydra. Because it was just done for shock value. It didn't mean anything. Now they've gone back and said, okay, let's actually make it a part of his character. Let's build this into him. Let's add this whole other time stream thing. Now, they haven't actually done much with his character yet, and that's what's the important part is going to be, if they actually bother to do anything to make his character changed or altered or affected in any way by the knowledge or realization that he was always a Hydra agent. How would you feel, for example, if you had all the memories of being you, but one day you wake up and you're told, by the way, all those memories, yeah, all that happened after you were kind of brainwashed and you used to be this other person. It's an interesting concept from a writing perspective, and there's no, like, defined answer to that, how you're going to react to that. He could still remain Captain America, the good guy, right? He could say, oh my god, you freaking warped my brain, and he could just go neutral, or he could go completely back to being evil. We don't know. I hope they do something with that, but it was an interesting enough idea that I wanted to at least mention it to you guys. Hallelujah. Music. Oh, there we go, music. Oh, thank God. It's killing me there. Okay. And I wanted to mention that because that is not exactly the best way to do retcons, but it is one of the better ways I've seen comics doing retcons recently, because, well, to give you an example of a bad retcon, let's say, oh, I don't know, just off the top of my head, you want to make a deal with the literal devil in order to undo your marriage in order to save your aunt, because the head writer involved says that Spider-Man shouldn't be in a marriage. Or, if you want another comic book example, another way to not do a retcon is to have Superboy punch holes in reality. Yes, both of these are literal examples that have actually happened. So I like that they're doing this. Oh, you know what? I got one more. Don't have one of the most impacting, powerful moments of comic book history undone because of time-displacing, dimensional warping bullets that... You know what? It's so stupid, I can't even go into it. Can't even go into it. Just sometime look up to what happened on how they... Captain America died in the comics, right? In my opinion, one of the most powerful moments in comic book history. It was undone because someone shot... The guy who shot him actually shot him with a time-displacing, reality-warping bullet that sent him to go fight some super adventures in another dimension, and it was so stupid I'm actually having trouble explaining it. And yes, retcons are generally... The longer a work goes on, the more retcons are unavoidable. I've done retcons of the Imperium, for example, and my story's only been going for like a decade and a half or whatever at this point. But at least put some effort into it. Anyways. So... Where's the spoilers image? Is this the spoiler image? Yeah, there it is. Okay. We're no longer spoilering, for those who care. They're making a SNES Mini. That's actually all the news we have so far. That's why I just kind of stopped after that point. The only thing we know with strong definitive is it's still not even 100% confirmed. We haven't had an official announcement from Nintendo yet, so this is still technically in the rumor phase, but this is very, very, very likely. I'd say we're at the 95 percentile chance of this actually happening. But they're making a SNES Mini. It's going to come out sometime in the fall season, or winter season. We have no details at all. So this is still... Who knows? I would go ahead and say that this is very likely. This is almost exactly what I am expecting based on how Nintendo's been doing their marketing approach lately, and their approach to this kind of a, frankly, collector's item. The idea of people picking this up. I mean, I've heard so many people say, I'd have no interest in the NES Mini, but I'd pick up a SNES Mini. I've seen tons of people talking about, I will totally pick up a SNES Mini if it includes blah, blah, blah. The interesting question, there's really only one question for me. What games would be on it? The NES Classic, or the NES Mini, had a weird game library. It had some greats, some goods, and some bads. And it was really weird of a mix there. And it was only, 30 games or 15 games? I actually don't remember. I never got an NES Classic, and never will at this point. But, what do you put on the SNES version? Pax and I were actually talking about this on Battle.net just the other night, and we sat down and were like, okay, what would you consider the must-haves on the SNES? And we came up with 40 games, because it was the SNES. It had a huge library of great and good games. So, I mean... But of course that's not what they're going to do, assuming they do anything with this at all. But I keep hearing this idea, which is the main thing I wanted to talk about, the concept of this being just another approach to a collector's item thing. This being just another... It's like the Amiibos. I mean, yeah, the Amiibos have some actual gameplay functionality, but their only real purpose, let's be 100% honest, is to be a collector's item. You put them on a shelf and you admire them. No offense to that, by the way. I totally understand that mentality. I would have a NES Classic if I could have gotten a hold of one. For $60. I ain't paying more than that. I'd prefer to pay less than that, actually. But, So yeah, what are you gonna do with that other than just put it on a shelf? I mean, it's like a gimmick. It's okay, woo, shrug. But the main thing I was gonna ask is, what do you guys think? In addition to that whole problem, what games do you think they should put on it? Give me just 1 second, sorry. Now the other thing. While people are answering that question, one of the other things that was brought up is, so again, that the idea that these being collectibles, collector's items, rather than actual purpose, actual emulator boxes. And I find that interesting because I have not heard anyone from a gamer perspective who cares about them as a collectible, but wants it as an emulator box, a legal emulator box. Now, I really point out because I've gotten the very strong impression, this is just my impression, based on all the press releases, based on all the interviews and talks and quotes from Nintendo, that they don't view this as a legal emulator box. They view this as a curio. It's just, here's a cute little thing. Here you go. And they don't actually understand the kind of potential this could have from a business side perspective. I don't know, Nintendo always does stupid things. This has been true for years and years and years, so I have no idea what they're thinking at this point. All bets are off. I mean, seriously. I don't even know what to make of it. We'll see if this gets confirmed anytime soon. If anything, it would probably be confirmed during E3, since they recently did a Nintendo Direct, and they didn't even mention a peep about it. So yeah, I guess we'll find out in a month or two. Shrug. Here's one for you. They're making a new Call of Duty game. I know. Shocking, right? I actually have to... Okay. I'm going to say something very unpopular. Not exactly a new concept on my show. I really liked Infinite Warfare. I really, really liked Infinite Warfare. It had two fairly significant flaws to its story, both of which had to do with the protagonist basically being stupid. But other than those two flaws, I can even point out the specific scenes. It's the one where we go out into the roof and then, oh my god, everything's blown up because we screwed up. And the other one is when we let Claudia Black get killed. Spoiler alert. But other than those two major flaws, I absolutely adored Infinite Warfare. It was one of the best Call of Duty games I've played in years and years and years. In fact, I would say the best Call of Duty game I've played since Modern Warfare 2. Right? So... But here's the thing. For reasons that we could go into, Modern Warfare was considered not a financial success. I'm not saying it flopped, but the actual people over at Activision were like, oh my god, it didn't sell nearly as well as we wanted it to. Not Activision, sorry. Or is it? No, it is Activision. I'm right. Sorry, I just got up like an hour ago. This is pretty early for me. So, okay, they think it was a flop, and they're like, oh, all this negative approach and all this negative press towards Infinite Warfare, we need to go in a different direction. But you were going in a good direction. It was good. Okay, fine. New direction. We're going back to World War II. So for those of you who haven't heard, the new Call of... They've announced... They will be announcing this coming Wednesday a new Call of Duty game set in World War II. And it's like Call of Duty World War II or something like that. Hang on, I've got the post up here. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, Call of Duty World War II. I was right. That's the frickin' name of it. Because, a Call of Duty game in World War II is just, really... I can't even sarcasm right now. I don't even know how to sarcasm. I've lost my sarcasm node. I think that would be awesome, by the way, Deacon. Yeah... This is why I'm bringing this up. I mean, a new Call of Duty game is not news, but in my honest opinion, Infinite Warfare really injected some new life into the series and made me actually enjoy the series again. Like, legitimately enjoy the series again. And I'm like, yes! So I was actually kind of excited for something new, and now we're going back to World War II? Now, I have two other things to talk about this before we go on. First is the fact that, statistically speaking, this is probably going to be a play-it-safe game. This is probably going to be the Russian front, the southern western front, maybe some Battle of Britain stuff, and that's probably it. The default stuff that everyone goes to when it comes to World War II. Now, I don't know how many of you guys know this or have studied World War II in history, but there were a lot of fronts in World War II. There's a reason it was called a world war, because it was going on frickin' everywhere. There was fighting all across the map. I mean, not literally, but just... And there's so much potential for other battles, for other lines, for other places you could go to in a World War II game. You don't have to default to the Russian front. You don't have to default to the Blitz. You don't have to default to the Battle of the Bulge. And just... There's a lot of different locations and places and ways you can do a World War II game that bizarrely have not been tapped. And I say bizarrely because, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a lot of World War II games out there. Lots and lots of them. RTSs, turn-based tactical, grand strategy games, FPSs, third-person shooters. I mean, God's sakes. We have a lot of World War II games. Why not do something else? I get that a lot of the attention, the camera, so to speak, tended to be focused in the main two European fronts. When was the last time you played a World War II game that covered the March Through Africa by Rommel? I can think of one. It was Panzer General, actually. Really old turn-based tactical game. As I say, and then there's the Chinese Wars, which has never been touched on, the Winter Wars. Very little has been done in the Africa stuff, any of the African fronts. Hell, even the Pacific theater has been barely touched, really. Despite the fact that there was a hell of a lot of naval combat. And naval combat basically invented new paradigms of naval combat for that front, for the Pacific Front. The Pacific Front was the first time in history that two fleets were fighting each other and couldn't physically see each other. And I don't know if you understand how big of a deal that was, but God's sakes. So you get my point. Why just default? Because I guarantee you this is going to be another default Call of Duty game. I almost guarantee you. Almost. I'm not 100% on that. I would actually really like it if this game decided to do something other than the default fronts. Hi, Velvetrix. Anyways. I'm just frustrated because I really liked the last Call of Duty. It was fun, interesting, engaging, polished, well engaged. I actually loved the story of the last Call of Duty game, Infinite Warfare. I loved the gameplay of Infinite Warfare. It actually varied stuff up. We had map missions, which could give us extra bonuses and unlock new character backstory, and we got the little side stuff and the setting building, and just, it was good! It was good! Why are you going back to World War II? Sorry. Yeah, World at War did briefly, barely cover the Japanese game. I've actually played World at War. That's Call of Duty 5, for those keeping track. Anyways, whatever. Next. Next thing. Okay, there's a new Star Trek Online expansion coming out. It's called Escalation. Unfortunately, I don't have as much news to talk about this as I would like to, but I always like to shine a light on Star Trek Online because it's one of my favorite MMOs out right now. It's an MMO I recommend to just about anyone who is even remotely interested in MMOs in general, or Star Trek in specific. Couple of things they're pushing out in it. Of course, obviously, they're going to be pushing forth new story. That's usually what happens when a new expansion, when a new season comes out. This is actually season 13 now for STO. I'm not going to spoil too much for those of you who haven't been keeping track, but it is continuing the arcs of the new people. Basically, they have finally started inventing their own new lore for Star Trek, rather than going back to, to the bin, so to speak. And so we're covering that stuff. I can't remember their names all of a sudden. The Peoples. We are the people. The Lucari. That's it, the Lucari. Which is a invented race. And so they're doing that. They're also adding this War Games concept, which is kind of neat. War Games are trials. So it's a 5v5 scenario. It's PvP. However, you don't actually kill each other. What instead is happening is it's kind of like... what's that old American Gladiator, if you've ever seen that show? You're fighting each other, but you're also fighting the course. What I mean by that is the intent is to reach the goal first. It's like a race. But you're going through an obstacle course. You have to do puzzles, you have to fight, NPCs and stuff like that. I have no idea what you mean by that, not Simon. I'm pretty sure the Vulcans were not invented by STO. Pretty sure. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, so yes, this is their attempt to really push PvP, because yeah, PvP's been dead in STO for like a couple of years at this point. So instead of direct combat, it's you two both going for a goal, puzzles, enemies. It sounds cool. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Obviously, I'm not in the Tribble server, the holodeck, or whatever it's called. They're also going to be doing a, and I quote, large-scale rebalancing for space combat. Not sure what to make of that. I mean, you can't actually fight each other, Zoan. You're not physically capable of fighting each other, at least from what I understand. I mean, if you don't want to go for the objective and just sit there and do like this, you can. Nobody's going to stop you. Anyway, so rebalancing space combat. Not sure what that means, because space combat's fine in STO. The only complaint I could ever possibly say about space combat in STO is the fact that it's all focused entirely on DPS. Like, as in literal damage per second, not just playing damage classes, but the more damage per second you're doing, the better your ship is. There are very, 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 very few bits of content in STO that actually reward you for doing something other than just playing a nuker from hell. And there's a lot of benefit to playing a complete glass cannon strategy. So, we'll see what they do with that, if indeed anything. Yeah, I know, I'm actually not a big Star Trek fan. I don't even know who the I can't do it, I give up. They're also, they're doing one other thing. Hang on just a second. Is this it? Yeah, here we go. So, one of the things they've been thinking about doing is pushing carrier play specifically. Now, carriers have come and gone in STO as far as viability. I'm not sure if I like what they're planning on doing here. I'm just going to read directly from this. They're talking about changing carrier pet functionality. For those of you who don't know what I mean, carrier pets is basically your fighters that you send out. So they're going to have updated AI to be more responsive, immune to a torpedo every 30 seconds, unaffected by warp core breaches, which would be really useful. I'll talk about that in a second, and receiving health and damage increases. So to explain what I mean by the warp core breaches, every time a ship explodes in space combat, it basically does a large amount of damage to everything around it, because it's warp core breaches. Now, that makes sense, and there's a lot of strategies involved with using enemy warp core breaches to cascade cascade the enemy. One of the things Pax and I will do, we'll round them up a bit, and then as they're about to blow, he will toss out basically a miniature black hole, which sucks them all into one spot. Then we all focus fire on one guy who explodes, who then makes the next guy explode, who then makes the next guy explode, who then makes the next guy explode, because they're all in one bundle, right? However, the problem is carrier pets are AI controlled. So they're just kind of flying around doing whatever, and they tend to be right in that warp core range, and so they did tend to die a lot from warp core breaches. Speaking from personal experience, is actually one of the main reasons I stopped using carrier mechanics. So anyways, that's cool. I'm cool. We're cool. Star Trek Online's awesome. You should totally look into it. Stellaris is talking about the stuff they're going to be doing as well. Just rapid firing today. Stellaris is, this is a wish list. Now, I want to make my terminology clear. This is not what's going to be patched into Stellaris. This is a wish list of what the developers want to patch into Stellaris, okay? Big difference. First of all, deeper federations that can start out as looser alliances and eventually be turned into single states, as in a single playable side, through diplomatic maneuvering, which sounds awesome. I actually find the Federation gameplay to be frankly lacking in Stellaris. In fact, I have gone out of my way to stop joining Federations, even when I'm playing with allies and you know, viewers, because Federation gameplay is kind of bleh. They're also going to be, again, on the wish list, wanting to add super weapons and planet killers. Because if there's one thing we will learn from Star Wars, and especially Tor, it's that you can always have more super weapons. They're also going to be adding more story... I'm sorry, I have to keep using the wrong terminology. They want to add more story events and reactive narratives. In other words, make it feel more like there's a story as you're progressing through. Now, I actually tried to find a specific quote on that one and could not find it, so I'm just going to have to speak from my own personal perspective. But what that reminds me of is Alpha Centauri, also known as one of the greatest 4X games ever made. If you haven't played it, you should. In Alpha Centauri, there was basically a narrative. There was an actual story arc going through Alpha Centauri. Things progressed in a certain way. Obviously, you and your particular playstyle might not coincide with that story, but there was actual lore, and there was actually a plot which was progressing throughout Alpha Centauri, and at certain points in time, it would move forward in certain different ways. So the idea of that thing kind of being in Stellaris sounds awesome to me. Yeah, exactly, Leander. Some more diplomatic quests would be fantastic, because we already have science and exploration quests in Stellaris. In fact, one of the first things you usually find is, hey, here's a quest to go map, like, 5 habitable planets or something. That's a fairly basic quest, but there's lots of quests like that. And in fact, I think in the multiplayer game right now, I've got, like, 6 exploration quests going on. So that's cool. More interesting mechanics for pre-FTL civilizations. Now, I find that interesting, because I already find the way we can interact with pre-FTL civilizations to be fascinating as is. In fact, one of my absolute favorite things to do is find a pre-FTL situation, replace its leaders with my own people, and have them slowly join us. Which is awesome. Well, this is a wish list, Wilson. Not a bug fix list. So unfortunately, I don't know anything about bug fixes, although, God's sakes, I really wish they would bug fix that, because holy crap. Oh yeah, they're also adding some new graphics in an updating patch. Shrug, I just thought I'd mention it. Another thing they want to add is a galactic community, and I quote, with interstellar politics and a space UN. Again, pushing the diplomatic side of things, so that's cool. They want to add buildable dreadnoughts and titans. That one amuses me because there's like a billion mods already to allow you to do exactly that. They want to rework endgame crises to be more balanced against each other and the size state of the galaxy. I'm not sure what that means, but then again, I've never gotten to the point where an endgame crisis has actually triggered, so I have no idea what those actually are. I mean, I have a vague idea, but they also want to rework War to address Doom Stacks issue. Now, I don't know what that is. I tried to look into this, but unfortunately I just didn't have time. Does anybody know what Doom Stack means in regards to Stellaris? They also want to add more mechanics and portraits for synthetic races, which sounds cool to me. I'll make a note here. Yep, close that really quick. Close this. Star killers. That's exactly what we need, guys. We need the Death Star 2. Or 3, or 8. Man, I don't know. Anyways, we need more. We need more Death Stars, guys. That's what we really need in our lives. Okay. What in the world? Sure. AI will deathball their fleets. That sounds horrifying. So, okay. In StarCraft terms, deathball is when you have a small, but you have a group of units that all cover each other's weaknesses, and it just rolls over the enemy. Isn't that what we all do anyways in Stellaris? I mean, I've kind of noticed, just even in my playthrough, I've only gotten to about mid-game, but I've noticed even in my playthrough that there's almost never a reason to split up my fleet. Which is funny, because I've noticed that exact same thing about when I've been playing Crusader Kings 2. You want to keep your army in one massive stack, and just strategically maneuver it to counter any enemy movement, rather than trying to split up and guard everything at the same time or whatever. Now, I understand where Loreweek is coming from on that. You know, it's no fun to just always have the big stack and roll over enemy. I'm not sure, from a design perspective, how you fix that. Like, we already have a ship designer, so you can make lots of different ships that can cover each other's weaknesses, and then, you know, obviously grouping them up into a big ball would be beneficial at that point. So I'm not sure how you do anything about that. I would like that too, Leander. I've seen like a couple of planet-based events, like the moving trees on Deutsch's planet for forever ago. That was fun, but you know. Also, I just got a comment from someone named Masamune. So, supply maybe, I guess. Supply doesn't. I mean, as weird as this may sound. This is probably just me being a naive idiot, but from my perspective, you should try to make it more rewarding to do something other than doomballing, rather than penalizing you for deathballing, right? I don't know. Anyways, before we cut off Loreweek, we're actually still going to be in Loreweek here for a little bit. Let's go ahead and at this. I need 3 volunteers to play Overwatch with me. First come, first serve. We'll do it here. Well, there's no Voot right now. Although there will be. So, I'm leaving this under the Loreweek banner, for lack of better terminology, because this is still kind of a Loreweek issue, or something. I actually was hoping to cover this during, you know, one of the multiplayer Sundays, because, you know, this is one of the games that comes up for multiplayer Sundays. However, it is consistently not being voted in, and this is going away next week. So, yeah, I'd like to actually cover what's happening here in Overwatch before I literally can't. We are, Zoan. So, let me go ahead and say, first and foremost, that one of the things I adamantly disagree with is the fact that they're discontinuing this. The fact that they're getting rid of this mode, you'll see it in a minute, is aggravating. Why do that? Why get rid of something that's fun and interesting and pushes Overwatch forward? Why do that? I legitimately don't understand that at all. I am blown away by the fact that they're deliberately getting rid of this. Why? Can anyone come up with a reason why? So this is Uprising. This is actually story in the game, in Overwatch. I know! It's amazing! But it's true. This is actually our very first story mission in Overwatch. It is a co-op situation. It's 4 players instead of the usual size. And it's objective-based. And it's pretty fun. In fact, I've actually played it twice, just to kind of get used to it, so I have something to talk about, and I'm not going in completely blind with completely random strangers, which sucked because I had to skip the cutscenes, because, you know, skip the cutscene, you know how people are. But, yeah. I mean, whatever. Anyways, so yes, this is an actual story mission, which is the first and most obvious thing I want to talk about. One of the things that's been said so many times about Overwatch is, why don't you have a campaign mode? Well, this is the closest thing we've ever had to a campaign mode, and also is an interesting in-between, because rather than a single-player campaign, it's a co-op campaign, which I'm actually totally okay with. If we had more of these advancing the story further, then that would be phenomenally fantastic. This is set back when Overwatch was still functional and running around. And this is when they were still doing stuff. This was still, as you can see, Reinhardt here, in fact, actually, maybe I can... Well, hang on, let's go ahead and open the loot box I got really quick. Nothing worth mentioning. Ah, well. Oh, I think one person has decided to join me. Well, if he joins me, then I just need Deacon to get in here. I'll talk more about it after we go through the cutscene, but yeah. Yes, I know, Loreweek. I just said this, dude. I feel like I'm getting really Twitch delayed lately. Vriska's group invite has timed out. I'm just going to do one run-through of the mission, Darkrai. Just to show it off. Maybe I'll win this time. Yes, I've never won one of these. The last one I did, the guy playing Reinhardt decided to go over and be like, ha ha ha, I'm going to go solo all this stuff over here and get all the glory. Oh no, I'm dead! And then, because we were then three-manning it, we just kind of slowly melted. Don't be that guy. Don't be the glory hound. Just don't do that. Some soup and I'm back. It's all good, Loreweek. Like I was saying, this happens 7 years prior to the present. This was Tracer's very first mission. The first time she had ever actually been assigned to active duty, alongside God, I can't remember any of the, I mean, Reinhardt, obviously, but Mercy, I can't remember what she called herself back then. And was he Tracer? Reinhardt. I can't remember the Torbjorn. His name I can never pronounce. Dwarf guy. And I've only played Mercy in this mission thus far, but I don't mind who I play as. I'll go with whoever. And so it's the four of them going into an area where, well, I mean, the intro cutscene will explain it. And the funny thing is, they don't even use like the super amazing in-game engine animations they could. They use these drawn things. Now, I know you're thinking, well, why is that a good thing? It's a good thing because it's quicker and easier to do, and therefore they could push out more maps like this if they keep doing stuff like that. Which would be a good thing. Oh, and technically Soldier What's-His-Face is involved because he's the mission leader on the comm. And, oh my god, Deacon, you're killing me here. I actually haven't eaten breakfast, guys. You know that? I haven't had time. And I haven't had food. It's just aspirin. Lord knows Reinhardt is basically a Mudsdale. Leander, so I'm with that. I have nothing but praise for this mode. I really, really like what they've done with this. This is, in my opinion, the perfect solution to adding more story into the game. And I put out an announcement video, Deacon. What do you want from me? Hey, Aragona. Haven't seen you in forever. Yes, aspirin for breakfast, because, although in about 5 minutes, my lasagna should be done. And by done, I mean ready to stop the oven and then leave it in there for a while longer. What's being played after this? Back to the Future. And after that, StarCraft 2. Join in if you want to join in. I'm just sitting here. I told you, first come, first serve. So whoever is the next person to get in here gets invited. Wait, so his name is basically German name, German name? That's ridiculous. Why would you ever have someone name that? Sorry. Let me say with all sincerity, I hope they do more of this. Ignoring the fact that this is more of what I want out of Overwatch, which is totally true. There's also one other aspect of this that I like. It's an additional game mode. My single biggest complaint about Overwatch to date has been the fact that it's relatively limited in its game modes. More. I've wanted more of Overwatch. It's good. It's a good game. I enjoy playing it. I just want more, you know? I just want it to do more game modes, more variety, more arcade stuff, as they call it. You have an amazing engine. You've got great designers. Just make more rather than just the maps that we have and the styles of gameplay that we've had. And so, even ignoring the fact that this is adding more game story and effectively a co-op campaign mode to the game, which I'm in favor of, it's also adding a new game mode to the game, which I'm in favor of. So for these two reasons, I'm pissed off that they're getting rid of this. What game modes? Capture and Hold, which is the Battlefield 1942 thing. Team Deathmatch, Group Death, just General Deathmatch, and I don't know what else. Nobody have... Hi, Kamek. What the hell is my battle tag? I agree, Corwin, and I hope the popularity of it has gone through to them, you know? Because that would be awesome. What in the world? God damn it. What does CP mean? Oh yeah, they also have Payload, sorry. They also have Payload, which is straight out of Team Fortress 2, you know. Get near the thing, move the thing forward. By the way, while we're talking about news, I'd like to also add that they're adding Hanamura to Heroes of the Storm, and it's awesome. It is doing exactly what I want them to do over in Overwatch. It's adding a new game mode. I don't know if you've seen the Hanamura video for Heroes of the Storm. It looks phenomenal. Basically, each core has 7 health, and there's certain actions you can do that can do a point of damage to the enemy's core. It's mostly about controlling, there's a payload mechanic, and there's a mercenary mechanic, and each mercenary gives you different items, which you can use at unique times in order to affect the play of the mode. That's the summary, but it's a new map. It's a new map style, which is exactly one of the reasons why I love Heroes of the Storm so much, is that they're doing new game modes. And it's awesome. Do that for Overwatch. Damn it. So yeah, I'm actually really excited about Hanamura, and whenever it's going live. Also, speaking of which, this coming Tuesday is the 2.0 live launch event for Heroes of the Storm. For anybody who cares, I won't be covering that. I won't be here Tuesday. I'll be watching my niece. But I will probably talk about it when we get there. And that'd be neat. I believe that will be going live. I don't have any friend requests at the moment. By the way, it's Lore Runner Pound 11373. Yeah, I can... Oh. Lasagna's done. I'll be right back. Whoever's here when I get back gets in. Isn't Control Point the Battlefield 1942 thing? Okay, play. Arcade. Uprising. Hard. Hey Marley. Hey Bragwin.
Strike team en route to King's Row.
Oh, right. I'll shush for the openings in them.
20 years after we won the war against the Omnics, we were no closer to living together in peace. The building of a new home for the Omnics in London was supposed to be the first step in improving human-robot relations. But it never had a chance. The Omnic extremist group, Null Sector, launched a surprise attack on King's Row. Hundreds were killed, and thousands more were displaced as they took control. Now, they are hunting down the last of the survivors. It could be the beginning of a new war between humans and Omnics. Unless we can stop them. Commander Morrison has sent our strike team to liberate the city. It's my first mission, and the only way to save my home. I hope we're not too late.
This is Morrison. Your mission is to liberate King's Row.
I guess I'll be whoever. I'll be him.
Torbjorn, this bomb of yours had better work.
Because I am absolutely goddamn terrible at Tracer. But yes, I have, of course, played Fallout.
Null Sector has 3 anti-aircraft guns in King's Row. They need to be disabled before we can drop the payload. You each have a portable drone which can be used to hack the air defense terminals.
Come get it!
This is Captain Amari. The first air defense node is right around the corner. And Reinhardt, don't charge in there on your own.
Wouldn't dream of it, Captain!
Ah, wrong button. Sorry, I haven't played Torbjorn in a long time, because I'm not good at him. No, I didn't record it, Seabear, sorry.
Beginning to hack. Stay near the terminal while it's in progress.
Thank you.
Team, Null Sector approaching your position.
Here we go.
Just wait and see what I have in mind.
Thank you, my friend.
Yes, Zoan, but I usually only try to get good at people that I actually enjoy playing as.
Now, that's more like it.
Like that new tank, who I'm actually really enjoying.
Just find it. Don't worry about me. You let me know if that changes.
Glory Hound! Glory Hound! Okay, so what I just did, they spawn like up that staircase, so that Reinhardt I mentioned in the previous mission, he basically just went up that staircase and stood there while the rest of us are down here like, come on! Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap!
In the courtyard,
Heal me!
up
Heal me!
ahead.
Ah, where's my mercy?
One down, 2 to go.
Seriously! Well, whatever. I guess I don't need heals, guys. By the way, there's no respawn in this mode, which I actually really like. However, if you die, another person can get to you and res you.
Signature up ahead.
So that's actually really awesome, in my opinion. I'll never drop armor. Okay, fine, I'll drop armor. Here you go. Have some armor.
Underway. The guns should be coming
Have some
down
armor,
soon.
guys.
Significant omnipresent
So those are the guns we're
presence in
taking
your
out, by the way.
position.
Emplacements they've basically set up for everyone here. I need more scrap! Okay, I need to get a turret going in this little kill sector. Yes, I know.
Attacks from all directions.
This is how you build things, right? You just smack them for a while. Scrap, scrap, scrap! Ugh! So yeah, this is what happens when you die. Well, okay, never mind. He just used his ultimate on me, that's okay too. So I've never gotten past this point because of the aforementioned glory hounding. Opinion on what? The fact that this is fun and awesome? I should not have done that, but that's okay. It's okay. They got my back. By the way, you notice there's actually 2 additional difficulties past hard, which I'm actually in favor of. Because one of the problems we've had with Overwatch matches recently is hard was too easy. So we now have super hard and mega hard. I forget what they actually call them, but that's effectively what they are.
Shots potential.
Okay, I'll stop screwing around. I would like to actually finish this, so no more screwing around. No, not to whatever.
Take my turret. Armor over here.
Initiating the hack.
Not
Detecting significant null sector troops headed in your direction.
Give me your scrap. And then just scrap!
hard on that. Let's do this. Just wait and see what I have in mind. It's just a scratch.
No! Oops, wrong button. Wrong button.
Dropship is en route to the clock tower.
Rendezvous at the courtyard.
Here it comes! Let's hope those guns really are down.
This'll be a quick mission if they are. Dropship incoming.
Let's get started.
Payload online. Initiating startup sequence. It's going to need a few minutes to get charged up.
You really think that's gonna work?
I built it. Of course it's going to work.
Inspires confidence, doesn't he?
Null sector forces are inbound to your position.
Armor here.
I think this is a little bit too thematically appropriate, but then again,
Watch out for those rifles.
this is... Overwatch is an extremely cliched game, and I don't mind because they completely embrace it. I mean, Tracer's first mission is going back to her hometown, which happens to be under attack by Omnics. Rogue Omnics, but still. And Tracer herself is a known Omnic rights advocate. I mean, come on.
Get your armor.
Sorry. Needed the scrap.
Oh, see? Like I said, it just needed a moment to get warmed up.
So it's ready to move out?
Not quite yet.
Oh, scrap. Scrap!
Get ready for another wave of attacks.
What in God's name is that? Crap. Okay, that works.
What was that sound?
Seems like we hit another little snag.
Define little snag.
Forget about it! Defend the payload! It just needs a little more time. It's going to work. Trust me.
Oh my god, bastions! No! Or whatever they were originally called, I can't remember it. Come on, Betsy! Kill him! Kill him! We're in a team, not for something.
Generators are green. Propulsion systems are waking up. Just a little bit longer.
Just gonna grab that scrap before we gotta pause here. There we go. Oh god, no, my turret, Bitsy! No, Bitsy!
Tracers down. Revive her. Payload's health is at 50%.
Oh my god, okay, okay. R. No! And we're dead.
Tracers down. Revive her.
Okay, maybe we'll go back down to normal. Hey, Vega Goose. Play the game. Me, apparently! I don't know what for. Oh, when I decided to go do this and get some frickin' scrap.
Heroes never die.
Alright, hang on. You'll have to ask someone if they're willing to go up their slot, Billy. Little Billy. Alright, so let's try Legendary! Seriously, though, this is great that they added 2 additional difficulties. I'm really happy about that.
Strike team en route to King's Row.
Oh.
20 years after we won the war against the Omnics.
This is Morrison. Your mission is to liberate King's Row.
French toast bagel. Ugh, pshaw. I don't know how to pronounce it, so give me a break. That's why I try to just call him Dwarf Guy, because he's Dwarf Guy.
Good luck out there, agents.
Alright, take 2.
Null sector has
Easier
3
difficulty.
anti-aircraft guns in King's
We got
Row.
this, guys. We got
They
this.
need to be disabled before we can drop the payload. You each have a portable drone which can be used to hack the air defense terminals.
This is Captain Amari. The
What makes
first
it Indian
defense
style,
node is
Dr.
right around
Nimbus?
the corner. And Reinhardt, don't charge in there on your own.
Wouldn't dream of it, Captain.
So what amused me is, I don't know if you heard that, but the AI just said, you know, Reinhardt, don't charge in there on your own. And so, as I mentioned, the player we were playing with in those solo matches did exactly that, as Reinhardt.
Approaching your position.
I'd almost say he was doing it on purpose, if not for the fact that he was probably just a terrible person.
Must
would you eat an egg with bread? That's so weird. My god. It doesn't mean anything at all!
Tracy, are you feeling all right?
I'm doing just fine, Dr. Ziegler. Don't worry about me.
You let me know if that changes.
Where's my scrap? Oh, there's my scrap indicator. I see it right there. How much scrap does armor cost? Sending out the armor thing. Looks like 50, if I'm looking at that correctly.
Where's the next defense node?
In the courtyard, up ahead. I'm marking it on
50,
your map.
thank you.
One down, 2 to go.
Shots
We detected a new energy signature up ahead. Looks like a new Omni.
just what the world needs.
Significant Omni presence closing in on your position.
Keep your turret. Everyone else, good hunting.
Sure, Reinhardt. Sure.
You're exposed in your current position. Watch
Yes,
your
I know.
advance.
AI person. I don't remember her name. I keep wanting to think that she's Jarvis. Except she's not, obviously. Female Jarvis? Femgis? I don't know. They're really, really, really out of stock, Bregman. Nah, I'm a turret guy, Lilu. If there's one thing I discovered last mission, is that I shouldn't shoot anything as this guy.
You shouldn't be far from the last node. It's in the cathedral, just up the street.
Detecting significant null sector troops headed in your direction.
Actually, I don't want it there.
Machine. I have big plans for you. Let's do it.
Like I said, he's Dwarf Guy. Forever. That's his name forever now. Damn it, Deacon. Go get the damn armor.
I'll patch you up.
Get the armor.
Dropship is en route to the clock tower.
Rendezvous in the courtyard.
Here it comes. Let's hope those guns really are down.
This will be a quick mission if they are.
I can do Tor. Or is it Tyor?
I foresee great things for you. Turret in port. Just wait and see what I have in mind.
Payload online. Initiating startup sequence. It's going to need a few minutes to get charged up.
You really think that's gonna work?
I built it. Of course it's going to work.
Inspires confidence, doesn't he?
Torre?
Null
Really?
forces are inbound.
Dwarf Guy! Got it! His name is Dwarf Guy. Forever.
Watch out for those slices. They aren't too strong, but they tear up the payload.
Defend the payload at all
So Tor effect is when you set up too many turrets.
Come get it.
No, Kemek, we're gonna be doing that next. Damn, looks like I can't repair the payload.
See? Like I said, it just needed a moment to get warmed up.
So it's ready to move out?
Not quite yet.
They should have known. Get ready for another wave of attacks.
Never, little Billy! I will never shoot his turret guy. Oh, that's his new name, turret guy. There we go. That's better. That's better than dwarf guy, right? Well, shoot. I finally accept going and shooting things.
Seems like we hit another little snag.
Define little snag.
Forget about it! Defend the payload! It just needs a little more time. It's going to work, trust me!
What's for that question?
Die! Die to my wrench! I mean... No, that's exactly what I mean. Die to the wrench! It's okay, Deacon. Or Kemek, excuse me. It's just an evil clone. Where's Deacon? There he is. Yeah. Take! Oh my god! Deacon is like expertly avoiding my armor.
Enemy fast enough ahead!
No! This is what you get for avoiding the armor, Deacon.
Generators are green. Propulsion systems are waking up. Just a little bit longer. I'll fix you up.
Stop dodging the armor! Stop dodging the armor! God damn it! Hi, Rickard.
Detonator incoming! Keep it away! Enemy fast enough ahead! Enemy detonator incoming! Keep it away! There we go! Get ready for this! Payload ready to move!
Escort the payload to the power station. Once you're there, well, it's up to Torian. Good job. Handing you over to Commander Reyes. Amaria.
Reyes. Latest Blackwatch intelligence indicates heavy null sector numbers inside the power station.
That's Reaper, by the way.
Expect null troopers, eradicators, bastions, and some OR-14s.
Well, they're already stretching it into heroes, Tigzar, but I don't know. Truthfully. Where's Deacon? Stop dodging the armor! Damn it, Deacon! I don't know if we should do a WoW Overwatch expansion, but yeah, some. Because it sucks, Tigzar? Okay, I won't Glory Hound. I won't Glory Hound, I swear. Yeah, I know, I see it. Ugh. I actually do need that scrap, so I'll be right back. Oh god. Oh, that's okay, it's not a big deal.
I'm so proud. It's just a scratch.
Yes, the one definitely Sears. Should we be standing further away?
Get that door open. Now. Energy levels are peaking.
Understood. Armor here.
We detected a massive power surge from inside the trees. Best guess they're gonna try to blow it.
The hell is that thing?
Focus on those OR-14s.
OR-14s.
First
Got it.
priority. Take them out.
Go! Go! Take out any non-sector troops inside!
I got this, guys. Eventually. Was that an Orisa? Oh, nice. Explains why it was badass. Sorry. It is okay. Now I see it. Now that I'm actually looking at her.
There's 2 targets left.
Right. I was gonna say I was actually gonna comment that she looks like a Decepticon. I guess I'm not so far off. We're not so different after all, you and I. Come on! Do me proud, turret! Get through them! Get through those shields! Oh god. Oh god! Why am I down here? Okay. No! What the?
Never die.
Good work out there, team. We've stopped Null Sector and given peace a chance.
Woo! Okay. Well, again? Come on! I'm not even sure I was contributing in that one. Actually, I bet I know what this was. Yep. This is when I did this. You mean like that, Corwin? Oh. That was fun.
Excellent.
Now, as much as I'd love to keep playing that, really, I would. Unfortunately, you guys didn't vote for that this week. And I am, as ever, your dancing monkey. I would like to see what I got. Okay, what else? Ooh, a new skin. I like it, too. Why would anyone play Rocket League? God. Okay. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and cut off the Loreweek section of this.